Hey y'all. Well, good Tuesday afternoon or evening to you. I guess we consider it an evening since that sun's sinking on the horizon. A lot of y'all getting prepared to embrace change tomorrow. Well, then I guess there's New Year's too, not to be confused. Why do we do that? We about October, we're like, man, I can't wait till the New Year gets here. I'm going to start over and do something different next year, when we're not even guaranteed that next year. I guess I shouldn't be flippant about it, but every day's a new day to make a change, at least in my book. Speaking of change, I was up here at the borderline of what used to be completely this old place. That you see behind me is probably another 20 acres back of what used to be pasture land. Memo put it in pine trees. It looked like this when I first moved back in, all the way back, but they've since harvested those pines, and change was imminent, right? We used to, as kids, there wasn't a fence of any kind here, and we'd just keep running, come over that old hill, and Memo would be hollering from that front porch as we tried to get away. Don't know what we was getting away from or to, but we was headed out to the woods just the same. I had a good day. I hope all of y'all are planning a safe celebration should you choose to celebrate. All the dogs are put up this evening, so around 11 o'clock tonight or midnight or whenever the booms start, I don't have to worry about hunting dogs up for 2 days. So we got ahead of it tonight. I plan to do it here in the next few weeks, but circumstances forced me to move my timeline up on the transition fence for the goats from its fall and winter set to its spring set. Those of y'all that follow the page will know won't be long. In fact, probably in the next couple of weeks we'll be breaking ground out here for our garden this year, and that means no goats allowed. So they had been doing well in that huge containment of about probably about 4 acres. And here of late, they found a hole in the fence, as goats do, back on the backside of that old pear orchard, and we had to put them in confinement there in the chicken house for a few days till I could get out here and rearrange their accommodations. So we've got that done, so we're one step closer to getting ready to set rows and till up and plant for the year. I got to thinking, looking at that old hole in the fence back there, and that can be dangerous for me sometimes, but it's always rewarding when I get quiet and study about it. And I was running this old fence this afternoon and really thinking about the hedges that were built around my life and my family life through that old house down there and a few other home places of grandparents and parents. And you know, goats, they're not normally meant to be led. You have to drive goats. Now, these are a little different. And what I mean by that is I went up there and saw them in the adjoining pasture. And as soon as they saw me, they knew they was in trouble. Of course, I don't do anything to discipline them. I mean, they're wild animals. They're domesticated animals. But as soon as they saw me, it's like they had a personality like, oh, here comes him. He caught us. And they ran right past me all the way to the barn like they was on fire and like I wasn't going to see that they were out. But so oftentimes hedges, I don't know if y'all thought about that. Back in the old days, we think of hedges today as maybe shrubbery or something we have to trim, but the good book refers to it several times as a source of protection. You remember Job, and old Slewfoot decided he wanted to give Job a test, so he said God had to remove that hedge. Another story for another time, but a hedge back in those days was a form of protection. They say the old shepherds out there on the plains would build a kind of a circle out of rocks or thorns or whatever raw material they had to kind of build up about a 3 or 4 foot high stave. And they'd put 3 sides up, but then there was a gap where they would enter in and out, and they would lead the sheep or the goats into the fold there of what they'd call a sheep's coat. and didn't have any holes in it. It was secure from predators. And as y'all know, the front of that little entrance there where the sheep or the goats would pass through and bed down for the night was called the way. And that's where the shepherd would sleep at night, across the way to the fold. Thought a lot about that this afternoon, and those old lions and bears. I don't guess there were lions over there, but the predators that would be after those sheep or goats for their meal that night knew they wasn't going to be able to pass by through the opening because the shepherd lay there ready to protect. They had to find a hole in that hedge somewhere, come sneaking in the back door and find them their meal. And as long as the shepherd lay there and stayed vigilant, they wasn't getting through that hedge. No, I've been blessed to have that hedge built around me. I look at our country and state of even my family and our society and our churches, and I wonder sometimes if we've allowed those small holes in the hedge to let those things come in. I think sometimes we look back at our mama and pawpaw, and they didn't have much, didn't have a whole lot of money, and a lot of them didn't have a whole lot of smarts as far as book learning went, but they had peace. So they were doing things different. They were doing it as instructed in the Word. And here we are, probably minds more intelligent than has ever walked the earth, but we're spiritually ignorant, and we wonder why it's crumbling around us. I think we've got some holes in the hedge. Heard a story. Y'all remember Sears and Roebuck catalog? It was on the tail end of my life, or at my childhood, I guess it was. And I do remember. In fact, I've come across some pretty big catalogs in there. Think about online shopping. Well, they crammed all of that into a book. And man, I don't know if y'all remember looking at it. It was jammed up with, I don't know, it'd be 200 or 300 items on one page. You really have to be diligent to make sure you had the right order number. And they'd ship it to you. And they had a thriving business back in the day. There's tell about an old boy that decided he wanted a birdhouse. He's flipped through the catalog there and come across the one he'd like. Never done it before, and thought he'd just put a little birdhouse up in his tree in his front yard and watch the birds eat. So he ordered it, and sure enough, a couple of weeks, not 2 days, it came in, and he went to putting it together per the instructions. It was all assembly acquired, and he did it by the book. I mean, followed every direction, and the more he did it, the bigger it got. He kept following the directions, and the more he put it together, the bigger it got. Massive looking thing by the time he got done. He was sure he'd done it right, and he went to hoist it up in that tree, took a tractor to get it up there, and I mean, it was the ugliest thing he thought he'd ever seen in that tree. Couldn't figure out where to put the bird feed. Probably take 200 or 300 pounds to fill it, he figured. So he thought something had to be wrong. So he wrote a letter to Sears and Roebuck, and they called him. Said, "Sir, I'm so sorry. There's been a horrible mix-up." Said, I know you ordered a birdhouse, but somehow we got the numbers mixed up, and we sent you a sailboat. He said, "Well, a sailboat? No wonder that thing looks so crazy up in that tree. I didn't think that was a birdhouse." Well, I'm not real happy. So, well, you may not be happy, but think about the poor old boy that ordered the sailboat that got the birdhouse for his boat race. He's still struggling. Lighthearted, I know, but when you think about us today and we're trying to do what they tell us and do it the way they tell us to do it and all of their learned knowledge, sometimes we depart the good book. God says he never changes, right? Well, sometimes we change and we outsmart it, and then we wonder why we have so much religion around, but we don't have any power, no substance, no peace. We struggle with depression and anxiety and broken marriages. And so easy just to walk away from things instead of stopping for a minute, making sure the master's at the way, and find the holes in the hedge. So if we find those holes in the hedge, we can patch them up. It keeps the wolves at bay, and all is right in the world. It really hit me thinking about that. A lot of us will be swearing off the changes tomorrow. Maybe it's a diet plan or pledge to do a little better with our fellow man. Maybe a new job. Or I hope none of y'all thinking about switching out marriages. Don't need to do that. I say that. Most of you will be done with all those resolutions here in about 2 or 3 weeks. That's all right. But you need to understand that every day his mercies are renewed. We can starting any day, not just because it's a calendar flip. I was thinking that I guess I've got a quarter century on either side of the dial of the century flip. 25 on each side of it. I'm still waiting for all that stuff they said we was going to have. Back when I was in high school reading the sci-fi, I figured with all the Buck Rogers we'd be flying around in cars. And I don't know if I like that idea. Most of us can't keep up with their gas gauge most days. From what I see on the side of the road, I'm afraid we'd have cars dropping out of the sky because they didn't get enough gas in it. So maybe we're not ready for that just yet. Speaking of choices, a boy named Chuck was in a nursing home. He was old. And he lived a good life, and non-ambulatory per se. But every morning, Chuck would get in his wheelchair, wheel down the hall there, and wave at the little nurses, and head down the sidewalk there to a little intersection at a stoplight, busy one, especially in the morning. And he'd post up there and wave and smile and say good morning to familiar faces that passed every day through there. Really made folks' day. He'd stay out there for hours. People wonder what in the world made him do that. Well, I reckon I know. Chuck made a choice every morning. He could stay in that old bed in that nursing home and bellyache about his condition, and that he wasn't able to walk around anymore and live with the regrets of what he wished he could do. Or he could be thankful for what he could do. He could still get around with that wheelchair, still had his mind about him, had his health. So he chose every day to make somebody smile the only way he could. He was playing the notes that he knew, right? Well, it's a peaceful day here on the farm. Our little black goat, I guess she's about 8 months old now from the litter in the spring. She's dropping weight again, so I'm going to sequester her back here with the little babies. The babies are out. The 2 baby goats that are a month old have started working on building their rooming in the backyard and biting a little grass. So I figured we'd give them a little 8-month-old mentor to show them a little bit. They're working on getting along, but there's still a little headbutting going on. The sickly goat, though, doesn't have a whole lot of power, so there's not going to be any damage done. But we wormed her, and we'll get her eating good again. She's still lively and doing fine, but just still in kind of a weakened state. Well, here they come, y'all. They're going to start hollering. They know it's almost milk time. Let me show them to y'all real quick. That's what y'all want to see. Y'all sound off where you're at, and we'll check in here in a minute and say howdy. If not now, we'll do it in a little while after I get off here. There's the one that we need to get a little nutrition in. There's the little babies. And they are ready for their milk flow this evening. It's diminishing a little bit. I'm weaning them as best as I can. I'm not a goat, but I figure I can do it just the same. I've done it more than once. The puppies are doing excellent. They're getting around good, and don't have them out here. I talked with Jordan. We thought about we're going to put them out in the backyard. It's that time, and they'll be safe and where they need to be as they age. But tonight was going to be the night, and I rethought that. He and I discussed it with all the fireworks and all. I don't know that they'd be used to it going to a new environment outside on top of all the loud banging noises. Of course, Sissy doesn't do well with those either, so we're going to err on the side of caution and leave them in the house another couple of days until we can move them on out. But it's been a good day. We need to remember that just because we may not can execute the changes tomorrow with the new year calendar flip, we can do it at any point in our life and in our year, right? I hope all of us think through that, and just because you don't achieve it time the society says you should, that you should give up, right? He stands ready when we're ready to make that change. There's a little boy named Danny. He loved his mom and dad. He did. Not for 6 years old, but he wanted to do something special one Saturday morning, so he figured he'd get up and make some pancakes for his dad and mom. The little old boy didn't know nothing about cooking, but he'd seen his mom doing enough. He figured he could try. So he scoots a little old chair over there to the cabinet, got up there, and he knew it needed flour, so he grabbed a big old flouring container. The little strength wasn't there, and as you'd know it dropped onto the floor, made a big mess there on the kitchen floor. Well, he scooped up what he thought he needed with his hands and put it in a little old bowl. He got some eggs out. Well, he didn't know how many it took. I guess he'd do what he could, so he cracked 2 or 3 of them, and the shells fell in there in the mix with it, and the rest of them fell on the floor. And here comes the kitten, and getting in the flour, just a big mess. He poured a little milk in that mixture, found some sugar. What he didn't get on him, he already had flour all over him, he put in the bowl. Well, he turned around, and sure enough, the cat had done jumped up on the countertop and was going at it in that bowl of concoction, pancakes it was supposed to be. He got exasperated. His dad rounded the corner. He'd heard the commotion in the kitchen there, and he looked over, and little Danny's old eyes just teared up, looking at the big mess he'd made, and he knew for sure punishment was coming, no doubt. His dad smiled at him and went over there and hugged the little boy, got flour all over his pajamas. They were both just a sticky mess. Little Danny looked at him and said, "Dad, I just wanted to do something special for you. I wanted to make you some pancakes." He said, "I know, son." He said, "Am I in trouble?" He said, "Absolutely not. I love you anyway, amidst the mess that you've made. You're trying." Beautiful to me. Think about my life and the messes I've made and trying to do better. God loves us just the same, and he'll get in there and get messy with you and help you clean it up if you let him. Sometimes it just takes a little more know-how, and he sure got that in spades, doesn't he? Let me take a look and see who all's on here. Guess that means y'all are like me and you're headed to the couch. I hope you're wearing your nice outfit. If I'm up past 9, I'll be lucky. That's all right. It's going to be a work day tomorrow. Let me see who all's on here. I guess I better put on my spectacles. We got the Christmas tree free of the house and on the pile. It's getting pretty dry. I'm afraid we might not have had a house if we'd have left it in there much longer, so I elected to put it on the fire. It's been raining, so it isn't lit up yet. But the next to go, well, y'all ever had a porch rooster? There's one right there. That is Tiny, we call him. Let me flip it around. We're going to have to talk to Tiny because he likes sleeping on the porch. And anybody that knows chickens knows they make a mess. Of course, thank goodness it dries pretty quick. We can just sweep it off. But Tiny's going to find the chicken house again, I'm afraid, because porch chicken ain't a good thing, I don't reckon. He's harmless. He don't bother nobody. He just eats whatever cat food and dog food's left over and whatever worms he can find. But it startles most people. He wouldn't attack a soul, but they don't know what thing coming up there is a rooster on the porch. I guess I need to get a washing machine out here in the yard somewhere, maybe an old car with 3 wheels off. Fit right in, right? It's all right. Right. All right, let's see. Let me go back and try to roll through these comments. Really appreciate all the new subscribers. This is my time to really have content for that as we start planting and getting things rolling for spring. Kind of had a hit and miss last year with all the rain. We had 60 inches by June, and I was just firing the farm back up, and didn't take much to discourage me, especially when that old lawnmower went down. But this year with that little tractor and a little bit of fire in my belly, I'll get it done. I've seen me do it, so I'm anxious for it. My sugar cane made it through the summer. All right, y'all remember old sugar cane? I'm trying to keep my sister off of it. She's wanting to cut it off and gnaw on it like we did when we was kids. But this is This is meant for propagating a little bit longer, so I'll cut it down before it freezes good this year, probably another couple of weeks. Y'all know we have, as I say often, we have 2 seasons in Texas. We've got summer and February. So as long as I get it cut down before winter, about another 3 weeks, we'll bury it in the dirt, and all the little joints there will come up with new sugar cane for next year. I'm thinking about making a little sugar cane lane here. It sounds pretty, but I don't know, it may be a nuisance more than I definitely don't need no more eyesores on this place for sure. Right? What was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be reading comments. Excuse me, y'all. We crossed over 58,000, and I'm not calling them followers anymore. Y'all are light bearers because we all got our own light to shine. Y'all believe that? We was at about 4,500 this time last year, and y'all have showed out, and God has blessed it. And we hopefully we're reaching a lot of people with some hope and encouragement. Right? The old ways. I think I'm gonna lean on that more and more because Papa and Memo had it right. There wasn't no strife in that house like it is today of sorts. Of course, not now with me, but when you look at the state of things. So I'm gonna get off of that and go back to reading comments. Y'all sound off where you're at, and we'll call it an evening. Let's see here. Who all's on? There's Miss Carrie, my good friend up Michigan way. She's checking in. I may have to go eat a cheese enchilada or 2. Just to get your goat, right? All right, let's see. There's Miss Renee. Thank you, ma'am. Holly Marie, out Georgia way. Good to see you checking in. I hope everything's going well for you. Happy New Year from Ada. Thank you, ma'am. God bless you as well. There's Carl checking in with a Happy New Year. I guess all of our iPhones, those that have them, will be, whatever you do, when somebody sends you a Happy New Year, don't click it unless you want the sound. That little emoji or whatever they call it starts sounding like your phone's blowing up. Carrie says, we're watching this live with the sunlight. It's dark there. Well, I'm going to leave that alone since you're up in Michigan. There, I got to be nice on here, right? I mean, the sun shines in Texas just a little longer, I guess. Kenneth says, goats are smart at finding a way out. Yeah, I don't know if it's smart or just goat-headedness, but they sure did. Had all this pasture to eat. Nope, got to have the other side of it, right? Kathy's saying, well, Kathy, ho, ho, hodl. I guess that was a play on Christmas, not sure. Either way, Kathy, happy, healthy New Year to you as well. Thank you. What wisdom I got came through lots of hard knocks, I can assure you. Sure can. Miss Misty Johnson, good friend of mine out in Alabama. Happy New Year's Eve to you. Carol's checking in from Southern Illinois. Carol, I don't know if you know this. My kids, well, 2 of them, my 2 sons, that Jordan's with me, and I got a daughter in South Carolina, but my 2 boys live up around the Mount Vernon area. So if you're in Southern Illinois, I know you know the town well. So that's where they're at with 2 of my grandbabies. Kenneth saying Happy New Year. Chris checking in, Happy New Year to you, sir. Miss Deborah's also in Michigan. Have a great New Year. I better be careful talking about Michigan with all these Michiganders. Is that what you say, Michiganders? Yeah, that's what we're going with. Ricky Johnston, Happy New Year to you. And you as well, Holly. No, she was feeling a little under the weather the other day. I hope you're doing better. Ricky Johnston remembers that catalog. Yep. There's probably been several copies that have passed through, no pun intended, passed through that outhouse out there, I'm sure, over time. There was never a toilet paper shortage back in those days. Between corn shucks, poke salad leaves. Y'all know what poke salad is? Anybody? Yeah, you got to know how to cook those. Mama used to cook those, and I looked it up, and I wasn't there. I don't know how many times you got to boil it down. And mustard greens and turnip greens and collard greens, too easy to grow to be hunting the woods for a poke salad. But it's a big leaf, so I'll leave it at that in reference to the no toilet paper reference. Carrie remembers the Sears and Penny. Oh, yeah, I forgot about pennies. Yeah, getting that Christmas catalog. Boy, it was like a wonderland. You were, man, you could look at that for days. Yeah, that's right. Well, we'd dream big, wouldn't we? That's right. That's okay. Terry says she remembers it well. Miss Charlotte checking in. Appreciate you, another subscriber. Happy New Year to you. Randy says Happy New Year. Debbie Hargrove Wall, amen, and God bless from Oklahoma. Let's see who else we got here. Francisco come over. Boy, he's blessed me on 2 different holidays. Of course, I call this Power Week, the 7 days from Christmas to New Year's. I always thought of it that way because the two powers that really help sustain you through life, A, is the spirit of love and giving, which we celebrate at Christmas through Christ's arrival on earth, robed in flesh. And, of course, New Year's, everybody's looking for positive change. So I think if you put those two together, pretty good principles to rule your life by. Anyway, he came over, brought us some tamales, Venezuelan tamales, he said. They were wrapped with banana leaves, traditional outer tamale look. And I don't think you could eat more than 2 of them. They were huge. Had potatoes in them, all kind of good stuff. I didn't ask what meat it was, but it was good, so we'll just leave it at that. Well, he showed up just a moment ago, so I'm coming on a little late. And he had 2 plates, and I don't know what it is, but it's some type of traditional, and he's not Venezuelan, but I guess they just like that cuisine. But he brought that over. It was like a big piece of bread and some other stuff on it, but his wife had made one for Jordan and I to celebrate the New Year with. So he's a pretty good dude. I like talking with him. We'll get out here and get to talking, and about every 2 words is English, the other 50 are Spanish, but well, I'm doing my best to keep up. Well, we communicate. We do. He got to see the puppies, and he is definitely an animal lover. He was loving on them puppies. So anyway, I got off track again. There's my very good friend out College Station Way, Miss Linda Harville. Happy New Year to you, ma'am. I'm glad you got to chime in live this evening. Terry saying Happy New Year. Let's see who else. I think did I get everybody? Sanders in Temple, Oklahoma. Tommy, friend Nebraska, my friend. I love the name of that town, Friend, Nebraska. I thought it was a mistype first time you typed that, Tommy, but now I'm catching on slowly. Miss Jan Osmond Rose out from Fort Worth Way. Good to see you on. Miss Bree, East Tennessee. Hope you have a blessed New Year. Well, blessed New Year to you and your family. Hope y'all had a Merry Christmas, Bree. My good friend Mike Boldick from Cottonwood, California. A follower, I think you've been with us. We've been connected here for about 5 years at least, Mike, I believe. Miss Angela's out in Tennessee. Let's see who else is on here. Karen Vance in Kennewick, Washington. Yep. All right, Carrie, you're dropping pins over here, Shelby Township, Michigan. Glad you're on. Mr. Kenneth, I'm sorry, hi from Ohio. I just misspoke. I know who you were. Miss Linda Smith Lee from Clanton, Alabama. I think I just about got everybody, I hope. Anita Braddock, Happy New Year from Florida. Tamara McGee, Happy New Year from Bogalusa, Louisiana. Hey, that's a fun word to say, Bogalusa. God bless and stay safe. David's out in Sanford, North Carolina. Happy New Year to you, sir. Carol's in sunny South Alabama. Appreciate those kind words. Miss Jamie, a good friend out in Kentucky, wishing a Happy New Year. Randy says Kansas City, Missouri. Kathy, hello, Happy New Year's Eve. Y'all have a great one, and I'm going to be home tonight with the family. Well, that sounds like the right place to be. Carol saying Happy New Year. Well, we got all kind of folks on here tonight, y'all. I appreciate that. Sometimes I get overwhelmed with the comments after the fact. I try to touch on them here, but I've noticed that about folks that do these videos on Facebook. So oftentimes they just come on there and have a video and they don't talk to nobody. I know it's getting overwhelming, but in my quiet times in the morning and evening, I like to sit down and peruse. If you take a minute to interact with us and share part of your story and your well wishes, I think it's only right to respond to you and interact, right? We're all in this together. Miss Sheila's in Alabama. Enjoy listening to you. Thank you, man. That old road's loud. Bob's in West Kentucky. Thank you, sir. See, Teresa, Happy New Year, and God bless you all in the new year from Marshfield, Missouri. All right. I still like Bogalusa, Louisiana. Yo, isn't that fun to say? Bogalusa. It's kind of like my favorite word, onomatopoeia. Lisa, Happy New Year from Alabama. May the Lord bless you, and you too. Let's see. Okay, I'm starting to catch up now. Carrie's talking about the Roosters, and I know where I'm at on my time. Bruce is in northern Ohio. Thank you, Suzanne, for that compliment on Mr. Tiny. He's done bedded down, y'all. I knew it. And to you, Dennis O'Daniel, Happy New Year to you, my friend. David's out in Pennsylvania. Dolores, Happy New Year. Enjoy your videos so much. Eastern North Carolina. All right. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Frida says, I've been attacked by a few roosters in my time. Yeah, we don't have that problem around here. When one gets a little antsy, we have a guaranteed chicken and dumpling Sunday, usually, on that deal. They get one chance, maybe two. Old Tiny's pretty good. Deb saying hello from Louisiana. Thanks for sharing your kindness, tender heart. Always enjoy the reminiscing. Happy New Year. I'm trying to click see more, but it won't let me. I'll read the rest when I get off here. Judy Robertson's in Pennsylvania. Thank you, ma'am. Rodney Johnson said we're 17th cousin. Is it 17 or 17 and a half? Right? I can't remember. I'll take it. That's good enough. Mama D is in Missouri. Took me a second to read that one. Anita said had a rooster named Bertrand the Bass. I can only imagine. Still have the scars, I'm sure. Bertrand would have been casserole on this place if he had that kind of nonsense. Just is what it is. John Veronelli, Happy New Year from Indiana. Kathy saying howdy from North Carolina. Captain Charlie Harris, well, good afternoon to you, to Florida. Happy New Year's. Vicky's in Minnesota. Carolyn's in Puryear, Tennessee. Rodney saying Happy New Year. Tom Griffith, Happy New Year to you. God bless from Kentucky. Be safe. I think I'm about to run out of scrolling, surely. Bobby, hello from Luthersville, Georgia. Laura Lee is saying Happy New Year. Back to you, ma'am. Happy New Year to Fred Oliver in Tennessee. Lawrence is in Northwest Idaho. Ohio. Ohio. There we go. I got it right. Kathy Goyer, Happy New Year to you. Blessings. Thank you, ma'am. Julie, my good friend, Happy New Year. Sun's a little brighter and warmer, too. Yes, ma'am, it sure is. Surely is. Brenda saying Happy New Year from Jessup, Georgia. Tamara's in South Carolina. Say hi to my daughter if you see her prowling around with that little precious grandbaby. Naomi Howard, Happy New Year's from the Thomases. Back to y'all. Gene, my good friend, saying Happy New Year. Back to you. Stanley, Happy New Year to you, brother. Let's see. Gas ain't that cheap, brother. Nicholas, blessings from Nick in Southern Michigan. Western Auto Catalog. Oh, that's another good one, Gene. Shirley saying Happy New Year to you and yours. Show the puppies, please. Hey, Jordan. I only got like 30, 40 seconds. Can you go just grab one of the puppies? Yeah. Jordan said he'll go grab one and bring them out. We're losing light here pretty quick. I don't want to get all of them riled up, but we'll get one of them out here in just a second. Brenda Georgewitz, Happy New Year and God bless. Brenda from Illinois. Good to see Happy New Year from Crestwood, Kentucky. God bless you as well, sir. Or ma'am, I'm sorry, Teresa, excuse me. Thinking about them puppies. Gene Permenter, Happy New Year to you. Renee Smith checking in from Henderson. And Kathy's in Northern California, new watcher. Good to see you, ma'am. Oh, that sun's pretty behind me. Or sunset, I should say. I still got my cross up, y'all. I hadn't had the heart to take it down, but I will. Just not right now. Which one did you get? Is that Samson? So this one's going to my dad, y'all. This is Samson. He's solid white. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. And that's his brother from another litter, checking him out. But he's a cool dude right there. Yeah, old Samson. And then we want to say hi. Well, yeah, you want to say hi? Hank's a little bit skittish. We really don't know what happened. Now, of course, he's been here the whole time, but I think he was a roamer there for a while, and folks didn't like him coming in their yard. So, yeah. See, yeah, that's right, little puppy. Sissy's up there at the door wondering what's going on. But, yeah, that's little Samson. They are, they're born on January 30th, so they're right at a month old, a little over. But they're healthy and doing fine. Got a little sleep in his eyes. But they'll be moving out to the backyard to enjoy the sun here in a few days. Thanks, son. And then we've got little Miss Ruby. Those of y'all following, my grandmother's name was Ruby. And I came across this sign. through waving ant. I guess it's backward to y'all. I'm sorry. Here, we'll do this. And that hung on that little stand for years and years. But it's been missing from this place for about 3 decades. 2 decades I know of. And my Aunt Bonnie had it. And she said it needed to come back home. So it did. And it's kind of cute the other day for the subscribers, I think it was. I took a picture of the little puppy that's called Ruby after my grandmother. And she'll be the matriarch of this place when Sissy decides to leave us one day, hopefully 100 years from now. But I thought that was kind of appropriate, so took a picture with Miss Ruby out here with her sign's sake, right? She's got a little heart on her butt, for those that y'all don't know. That was a pretty neat deal. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I may have to catch up with y'all after the live. Buddy's saying Happy New Year from Yulee, Florida. Let me try to get a few more. Eric saying Happy New Year from Kentucky. Back to you. Anthony, what's up, buddy? Houston, Texas, he says. Randy's in Madisonville, Missouri. Good to see you on. Lots of new faces here. Welcome aboard. Shirley Wells, Happy New Year from Athens, Alabama. Evelyn saying howdy from Mount Airy, North Carolina. Happy and blessed New Year. Always good to see you comment, Miss Evelyn. Thank you. Texas, let's see who's that. Lorraine Andrews, thank you for the compliment. Hope y'all enjoy the stories. Some of them are life experiences, some are stuff I've read, but they all mean something to me and always lift me up anyway. Teresa saying blessings. Hey, good health to you and yours for 2025. Kathy says, I forgot to tell you, I'm in Lewisburg. Yeah, that's right. I remember that, Kathy. Kim is saying Happy New Year from Moncton. I hope that's the right Texan. I know it's not a Texan word, so it's kind of tough for Texans to say, but let's see. Moncton, New Brunswick. I hope I did that right. Anyway, you know who I'm talking to, right? Kurt, howdy. Thank you for your insights. Thank you, sir. Michelle saying Happy New Year from Southern New Mexico. Deborah, well, it must be a late comment. I just showed him. Kurt's in Wisconsin. Shirley, you're welcome. You're welcome. Eric says, God bless, Happy New Year from Litcar, Kentucky. Litcar, Kentucky. That's kind of cool. A lot of cool names on here. Sapulpa, Oklahoma. There's another phone. It's kind of like Bogalusa. Good to see you on here, Eric. Tammy, Happy New Year to you. New Zealand's in the house. Goodness gracious. Let's see, you already got your new year rolling, or are y'all behind us? I don't know. Either way, have a good one, Mary. Thanks for checking in. Yeah, Dad and them named him Samson. I thought that was appropriate. So that was the only full white one. But, well, thank goodness. Saw somebody pulled over. It's the DPS watching for speeders. And I have to thank them. This is a 50-mile-an-hour zone, y'all, and a lot of residential and a lot of pets. And they'll come flying through here. Seriously, 60 miles an hour, 70, 75. It doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot. And you got kiddos and all close. I think there's been 2 human deaths, if not 3, on Woden Road, the one I live on, from pedestrians. Car hitting a pedestrian over the last decade. So good to see them in their spot tonight. So that'll work. Charles Miller, it's going to be plumb midnight. I'm going to be up when the new year comes if I don't watch out. Charles, good to see you from Conroe. Jeff's in South Carolina. Good to see you, sir. Dwayne, Cypress, Texas. Hi. Randy and Sandy, beachgoers. Happy New Year. Well, that's an appropriate name. Benita Johnson saying Happy New Year. Back at you, man. Tellico Plains, Tennessee. All right. Y'all a long way from the beach, I guess. David, my pastoral mentor friend, childhood friend. Love you, brother. You keep me inspired and keep me grounded. Yeah. I hope your dad and mom's doing good. And we got to get together real soon. I guess we can make that not a resolution, but a tomorrow goal. And if it doesn't happen tomorrow, we'll make it the next day goal. That's how we do it, right? Good to see you, brother. Thank you so much for checking in. Gene Baxter from Bullard, Texas. And I think I've reached the bottom. All right, it's dark enough. The babies are hungry, and I got to get the evening chores did. Not done, did. We got to get them did. Y'all have a good evening. Be the light, and let's make a change tomorrow. Not because it's a calendar flip, but just because we've been blessed with a new day, right? Be the light. Talk to you soon.